I've been around and doing it, but now it's my time to shine and start proving it. I'm losing it, I'm moving it. The city is where I'm made, Bostonian flow, I kick it in back bay. Yeah, I got game, God in a fan way. We the city of the champs, every sport we play. Spit wetter than the harbor, yeah, I'm flowing like the Charles. I be speeding on this beat, call it Turnpike Miles. Yeah, it's Boo signing on, John to the Hancock, and I'm always key, I'm ready to unlock. I be doing big things, don't even have a deal, yeah, I battle through these.
Welcome back, everyone, to the newest edition of Once a Week. I'm Giannouloudis, and guys, we've been putting together an incredible string of messages for you to improve on your mindset, as well as the deeper areas to truly improve in all areas of your life. And today, we're adding to that in an incredible way, because we have an incredible special guest, someone who caught fire essentially with his ability to help people. He is the CEO at Social Confidence for Life. He is helping his clients overcome and conquer anxiety in incredible ways because he walked that path in his own right. He spent 15 years going from anxious-filled and depressed to now a man on a mission, helping others conquer it just like he did. Guys, Josh Valentine is helping people understand how to step out of their fears and into new levels of confidence where they can consistently live and achieve. And the more I saw and read through Josh's story, Josh's content, I could see his want to create impact, and I had to get him on Once a Week. So guys, please welcome Josh Valentine. So Josh, I thank you so much for being here, brother. Let's dive into it. So what sparked you to become this coach? Give us some background right now on you for the audience.
So the biggest thing that sparked me to even go on this journey was just suffering, on my part. Since the age of 6,
okay,
I've had trouble connecting to any sources of parents guiding me in life. When I was 6, my parents got divorced, and my dad was in the Air Force, freaking amazing, respectable. But the thing there was he was gone so much that I didn't have the connection to parents. My mom went back to Taiwan, a bit of my backstory. Haven't seen her since I was 6.
Wow.
And so from the age of 6 to 9, I had a nanny, and I just kind of had like different babysitters, nannies. I just felt like I had no model of self-love. And at such a young age, I just felt abandoned. I felt like the world was a scary place. I didn't have like some foundation rock. So what happened was for the next 15, 16 years, I just spiraled downward and downward. I didn't have some system set up, some like positive influence, support, showing me how to love myself, showing me that, hey, in life, you can set goals. And not only can you set goals, but you can feel hungry, alive, passionate. I was missing that fire, that drive. I didn't even know that was possible. And so really, I wish it did. And now that I've, there's a transition point, which I'll share in a bit briefly, and see where the conversation goes from there.
Yeah.
But now understanding that the process could have been shortened so quick if I had just gotten to this transition point sooner. I now just want to stop it from people. If I can stop people on the same trajectory of spiraling down for 15 years or more, and I can shave that off to maybe 10 years, 5 years, or even 8 weeks, that's my mission.
That's awesome.
We have this power inside of us to make these massive shifts, but the only thing that's really in the way is the emotional habits, patterns that we have set up.
Yep.
I didn't grow up with these parents showing me that you can feel, I know it sounds corny, but you can feel love in your life. That's just, you can be the person who goes and, goes in life for the rest of your life feeling like, I hate myself, I hate my life, or whatever. But the truth is, there is this other path.
Yep.
And so the transition point was after, maybe the 20th time that in college, my roommate was like, hey, I'm going to go dancing. And he even had like this woman that he brought back, one of his friends, the friend of his date. And he's like, hey, she needs a partner to go dancing with. And once again, I used the excuse of, I got to focus on homework. I got to get my studies in because, I got to focus on my career, get good grades.
Right.
But really deep down inside, he knew it. All my other friends knew it whenever they would invite me out to do stuff.
Yep.
I'm just socially awkward. I've got some kind of depression going on, some kind of pain.
Yeah.
And the worst of it was I knew I was lying every single time.
Okay.
I'm just scared.
Yeah.
And so while he was out again, having fun,
Yeah.
I was in there by myself, and I just like looked at my depressing eyes in the mirror. And I was like, geez, what a depressing guy. Well,
Yeah.
this is horrible. Like, when am I ever gonna change? And I kind of just like had the courage to finally ask myself, if I do nothing to change, like in the next year, you know, even a month, 3 months, 6 months,
Right.
what's gonna happen to me?
Yeah.
That's when I had the courage to finally admit I've only been getting worse. I have a history. I've got evidence of seeing my life getting worse and worse and worse. If I do nothing to change, I'm on route to suicide. I mean, at some point, we either do something to overcome our inner pains, or we do something to just end our lives. And I saw that was like, I was like, really? Like, we each get one life to live. Is that really the person I'm going to be?
Right.
And it was in that moment that I just realized, look, here on out, if I'm going to give this one more shot to overcome any pains that I have, the smartest thing I can think of is to research people with the energy that I want.
Nice.
And I'm going to ask them, how do you have this energy?
Yeah.
And how can I do it?
Yeah.
I didn't know that there was this whole world of coaching. This is when I was first introduced to coaching, that there were people here who've been on the same path that I've been,
Right.
you know, that have felt the pains that I've been on. And not only have they conquered it, but now they've helped transform other people's lives. And I was very skeptical at first. It's like, this is some bull crap. What are you talking about? No one understands my pains. I can't, you can't bring back my dad, which that's another part of my story. When I was 14, my dad passed away from cancer.
Okay.
Kind of left that part out. So
Yeah.
that's what I meant by, like, I didn't really grow up with parents.
Yeah.
And so you can't bring back my parents. This pain, it can only be solved if the thing that caused it is put back in my life. You know, the death of my parents, losing my mom when I was 6. Really shift emotional pains. But it's only when we're around the right influences, the right energy. That's when I really started to understand that we become our environment.
Yeah. Right.
We're not going to change unless we change our influences, our surroundings.
Right.
Like, somebody in emotional pain that has doesn't have the right energy in their lives, they're not going to like become that energy. There's no chance, because we have this pattern of sinking down. What I did, I'll speak for myself.
I get that.
The only way I'm gonna have any chance of ending my downward spiral is to learn, model, have these people in my life that are fighting for me. And just, you know, that's when I started to fly out to meet these mentors and watch all their YouTube videos, take massive notes, and then act on them. You know, hey, here's some confidence exercises.
Right.
You know, take baby steps. You know, you're scared of eye contact. Okay, so what you're going to do? You're going to enter a store, and all you're going to do is just look at 3 people in the eyes. And it's just like these little baby step processes out of fears ultimately got me to climb out of it.
Yeah.
And then feel confident enough to now end anxiety for other people.
Yeah.
And so I know that's, it's a story, it's a journey. And so, there's probably a lot of questions at this point. And so I kind of just want to check in. Is there any specific questions that you might have for me?
I love it because it truly shows that, if you're, like you said, you've battled the mental health aspect, you've battled the depressive aspects, the anxiety aspects, to even the point where you could realize, if I'm on this path, suicide's a factor. And a lot of people don't like talking about that. So I thank you for bringing that up. And essentially why that caught my eye is because as much as that was such a tough time to be in, you had that mirror moment where you're staring yourself in the eyes and you're like, this isn't you. There's something more here. And to then realize, as you start taking these baby steps, and that's what they are, they're baby steps of action into who you've become, you realize that all of those past moments, as if they were supposed to line up. And that's something that a lot of people who are struggling, they look at those past moments as like, oh my goodness, how could this happen? You now rise above the water and you're like, I get it. to now where you've learned through all of those past pains, all those moments, to take that pain and shift it to help the next person. And I believe, I come from a place where I just truly believe the experiences and the situation we've been through, whether it's pain, whether it's joy, whatever emotion you've received from it, is meant to help the next person. And if you're trying to help someone out of pain, there's a good chance that you have no matter who's watching this right now, whether it's me and Josh, whether it's just someone who just stumbled across this video right now, and you're wondering, do you have anything that someone else needs? I can 100% sure you do. And Josh is an example of that, where Josh overcame these struggles in such an incredible way by taking the steps forward to the point where he can teach people to come out of it. Whether, and like Josh said, it took him 15 years. If he can help someone shave off 5 years, 10 years, heck, with Josh's program, he brings it down to about 8 weeks, I believe you said, Josh, to be able to reach into someone and be like, hey, 8 weeks is all it takes to change your life. You can change your life in a moment. And if they dedicate themselves for 8 weeks, oh my goodness, where will they become? And that's the beauty of everything that you bring to the table. But if I have questions for you, I'd probably say you can look back and see where you were a young kid. And that's kind of where it started. You had experiences that you were completely out of your control. And it taught you that your environment, essentially you become a product of your environment. So I work with coaching with a lot of probably 25 to 50 range or even older at times. But I've spent so much time working with the inner city kids, and I see these moments that you experience where they don't really have much to grab onto. And if we could give anything right now to a parent listening to this, it's not that you have to buy your kid anything. It's not that you have to, go out and make sure they have the fancy stuff. It's to spend time with your kid and show them the gifts that they have. And that's something in your story that just from experiences wasn't necessarily there as much, but you had to find your strength yourself. So is there anything you give to a parent right now where they might be thinking about their kid? What could they do with them just to show them, like, hey, you have skills, you have gifts, you have strengths? Because if a kid learns that, they get to overcome a lot of the hurdles that you had to literally find ways over on your own. So is there anything you give to a parent right now?
Yeah, and Billy, I really appreciate this question because it really, there's something fascinating that this also brings up too. And I know for me, it's not like people didn't try to help me. There were people who did try to help me. First of all, I was part of a church community, and there were people who reached out. Now, the problem is, and this is where I'll tie it back to what parents can do. Everything they did, it didn't work with me because anyone in pains has this like crazy strong shield that's trying to stop any love, any support coming in. And it's because there's this battle of identity.
Right.
Ultimately, if anyone's going to transform, it's because they're letting go of their old toxic identity. That's what it is. And I'll call myself out. I mean, think about it. I was in depression, anxiety. I got to the point where I looked forward and was like, I'm on route to end my life. Yeah. It's a toxic identity. That's just the truth of it. Yeah. And because of that identity, anyone telling me otherwise, I'm going to be like, that's bullcrap. No, stay away.
Yeah.
But you know what? The root of all that is just fear. It's fear of like, what if they're right? What if I'm the one responsible for my pains? The thing is, I don't want to be responsible for that.
Yeah.
I want to blame, life took my mom away when I was 6. Life took my dad away when I was 14 to cancer. It's not my fault that I'm in this pain. I want life to correct it. Give me my parents back. How about that?
Right.
And the thing is staying in those thoughts, is staying in that stress and, depression, giving up mentality. Is that getting me anywhere closer to even feeling happy? I mean, sure, I could live like that for the rest of my life, I guess. Let's see where that takes me, maybe ending my life. And so what I would say to parents is it's like initially that the strongest way, and this is after I've helped people, get to the point where maybe they can start to see from the perspective that actually gets them to change. You have to pace it at where they are. You have to emotionally validate them. Don't, any sense that they're doing something wrong, that's too strong, because already they want every reason to deny support. Like, it's crazy. Like, deep down inside, they want help. Obviously, no one wants to stay in pain. They want people to transformed them. They might not consciously know it, but we deep down want help.
Exactly.
But the problem is, as soon as we feel like you're pushing us too much, game over.
Yeah.
You didn't succeed. And that's how I felt with everyone that attempted to help me. They pushed too hard. And what I needed was somebody to say, Josh, I can understand that you would feel that way. That makes sense. And then they connect with me on maybe a story of where they felt similar pains.
Right.
People that are saying like, hey, this is what you have to do. Yeah. We're not looking for advice or a solution. Yep. First, we're looking for empathy. That's how inspiration really begins. Inspiration isn't like, hey, this is what you're doing wrong. Oh, by the way, here's the solution. Now go do it. Make it happen. That's not inspirational. Inspiration comes from empathy. It comes from stories. The only chance I have to possibly influence someone else's life is to do the same thing that worked for me. Yeah. I needed that role model, mentor to show me, look, I've been down your path and here's my story. Here's the depth of my pain. Yeah. Now, at this point, in your journey, I remember at this point in my journey, this is what was going through my mind. I was scared because of these reasons. Now, I stayed stuck in those fears for a while, but eventually the only thing that got me out of those fears was XYZ. Yeah. It's like, we have to feel understood. Seek first to understand is really what I'm driving at with any advice for parents. The only way I can possibly affect another human being's life through anxiety is I have to understand them first. Yeah. They have to feel, I'll actually take it deeper, because we can do our best to understand somebody, but we have to ask ourselves, are they feeling understood right now? And what more can I do to help them feel understood? That's the thing. They have to feel understood. Parents no one has any chance of helping somebody if they can't get to that milestone that person they're trying to help feels understood. Yeah. Yeah. That's step one.
I love that. I completely agree with everything you just said. And it falls in line with so much that a kid's searching for. So I think you're spot on. With me and my experience of getting to help the inner city population, kids from say, 4 to 20 at that point, that's exactly what the kids are looking for, is just someone to hear them out. And there could be, and like a parent listening to this right now, your kid could be anxious. Your kid could just be angry and defiant and just needs conflict management, whatever it is that pops into a parent's mind right now for their kid. But if you just sit there and you just lend an ear, as Josh said, seek to understand. And if you lend an ear to your kid or your nephew or whatever it may be, and you just sit there and hear them out, as Josh has done, and he already did it in our interview right now, his past experiences are able to help his clients. A parent listening to this, your past experiences, no matter what or who you're talking to, will help someone. And that's what Josh said with empathy. That's what Josh said with the storyteller aspect. You have something that could help that person, whether it's a kid, whether it's adult, whether it's a grandparent, for all we know. Someone needs what you have in the exact moment. And if they're struggling, you have the ability to help them. So Josh, I completely agree with that. I think you hit the nail exactly on the head with that, where empathy and just seeking to understand and lending an ear is the best thing a parent can do for any kid, no matter who it is. So I love that. I appreciate that answer. That's huge. Yeah, that's awesome. And it sparked in my head when you were talking. You offer so many resources with what you do, with your coaching and everything, whether it's helping people with confidence, anxiety, even meditation aspects. And, I wanted to kind of bring it to the social confidence for life, which is your business. I've seen you've got ebooks out there. Can you dive into that for a little bit?
Yeah, I do got some ebooks. So I've got a website, and really the most effective way, if anybody wants it, is just to find me on my Facebook page, Josh Valentine. Just look it up. I've got this, profile pic of me on the beach currently. Yeah, depending on when you're listening to this recording. But hit me up and then just PM me. It's just really the quickest way, because not only can I offer you some resources, some free material to help that show action steps I took on my journey out of it. And it's, the action steps that I help people take too, that have led to their transformation out of anxiety. We can also have a conversation about your specific questions with anxiety. Because that's something that, everyone that has anxiety, everyone's got a slightly different, twist to it. Yep. We have different upbringings and backgrounds. Yeah. And so, just sending me a message helps us to get in a conversation. And ultimately it's just, the quickest and most effective way to get specific questions answered.
Oh, that's phenomenal. That's perfect right there. Because when I went onto your website and everything, you offer a great deal of resources for people. So anyone listening to this, like, find them on Facebook, find that website. But to continue on what you just said, Josh, with, whether it's anxiety, whatever, everyone's is different. And when we were asking the question about the parent aspect, you mentioned identity. And I think that's so key, because a lot of people's identities, just the way society has become, I think identity kind of takes fear takes a foothold on our identities in today's age. And the more people can step out of that fear, they find out who they truly are. But that fear creates limiting beliefs and whatnot. And when you mention identity, that sparked in my head. So when you're helping people, whether it's anxiety or another aspect they bring to you, how do you help them overcome limiting beliefs that have been there for so long?
Yeah, no, that's a powerful question, because now we're getting to the core of it's at the, shave off everything. And it's just, you take someone on a call, and we're gonna meet the core of anxiety head on. It's going to come down to a discussion, like every time before we actually make a leap to change.
Yeah.
And this is exactly what I got to. It was when I had a mentor that walked me, if actually I'll backtrack to that conversation I had in the mirror.
Yeah.
It's the reason why we can transform so fast. It's because the quicker we get to that question of option one, remain in anxiety for the rest of my life, and regret not trying the solution that we deep down kind of know is the solution, but we're like too scared to admit it.
Gotcha.
I'll speak for myself. Deep down, anyone in anxiety, they believe it's possible, that they don't have to stay stuck in this. Like, consciously, I would never admit it, but subconsciously, I knew there was some solution. I was just scared, because the solution is we have to model the right energy in our life. You can think of anxiety as this like toxic energy. If nothing around me is showing me how to become the energy that I want to feel, happy, fulfilled, passionate, on mission, on purpose, there's nothing I can really do about it. I'm not going to grow and become that energy. And so really, once, for parents or anybody that wants to help someone, or maybe, the person listening is in anxiety right now, the conversation has to happen. It's what's going to happen if I don't change. That's option one. Now, option two is the path of finding mentors, finding what you have to do to learn from them, being open, prepared, willing to invest your time, energy, resources, finances, to get support and help. I mean, it's really comes down to those two paths. Which do you value more? Do you value the person that stays stuck in anxiety and potentially ruins your life, like I realized I was on route to do? Or do you value the person who just doesn't want to regret not getting help, not finding those mentors, not even going on this journey to surround yourself with the right people who can fight for your happiness? It's which person do you value more at the end of the day? Which person, and which path is going to put you in the better position to get out of anxiety?
Right. That's awesome. I love that. Yeah. And, it connects to so many different pieces too, where, if you're trying to overcome anxiety, you're trying to step out of that identity that you knew to create a new identity, like you said, grabbing a mentor, grabbing a coach, looking up to someone for that matter, with where they are on whatever aspect in life, they left a roadmap behind to how they got there. And when you can reach out to them personally, as people watching this can reach out to Josh, reach out to myself for that matter, there's whatever questions you ask, you get an answer, but it pulls you out even closer of that old identity into yourself that you're meant to step into, your higher self, if you will, your better self, if you will. I like to just say the person you're always meant to be, because that's life change at its finest, where you can step out of like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I'm stuck in this problem. You go from the problem to the answer to the new version. And that's what Josh just summed up right there, where if people can reach out, ask a question, if you're anxious to reach out, I hope you're not anxious to reach out to Josh, because this is what he thrives on. He loves this, right? So to step out of that small little piece of anxiety, that small step that Josh took years ago, that you could do right now to send a message, to send a personal message. That's that small confident step that starts the process of creating your new identity. And as Josh would say, the confidence for life, because that's just a snowball effect. And if you reach out to someone or look up a video for that matter, and you realize the roadmap to how they overcame is something you could start to follow in your own way, in your own path, whatever it is. Oh my goodness, the results could take eight weeks, like Josh brings to the table, could take a moment, because every single moment you're starting to change your life for the better. And at that point, nothing stops you. You just pick up momentum, and that's your confidence building. That's your energy building. There's so much that we can keep building on with that one question, but I love it.
Yeah. And Billy, if I may just jump in with something real quick. You mentioned roadmap. It's anyone in anxiety. We have this story, and I did. It's that no one understands my pain. No one has it, worse than I do. And with that mentality, I realized, yeah, it's my own ego that's getting in the way. The problem is me. I need to remove that story and admit that, yeah, other people have been in my same position. They have felt the same. Like, really, who are we to think? Who are we to think that we're the only ones who've ever been in this, in the pains that we feel?
Right.
The truth is, there are people who feel exactly the same way we do.
Yeah.
But because they took that other route of getting support and help, they're actually breaking out of it.
True.
And it got to this point where I was like, I know this is true. I know this is true. I'm not going to be that person who stays stuck for the rest of my life. I'm going to do something with it. And so one thing I wanted to bring up is that not only do these people have a roadmap, but I also have a book where I've actually spelled out my roadmap through it.
Nice.
And it's called The Ultimate Confidence Game. And so I just wanted to go into the 6 action steps, really, because what if you're really just if you knew you were 6 action steps away from freeing yourself from anxiety, would you not at least want to, reach out to somebody and get access to that roadmap? And so one thing I wanted to say is that, for anyone who does reach out to me, I do have a roadmap that explains the 6 action steps I took out of anxiety. So hit me up and I'll send that resource right away. But anyone listening who wants to take notes, I'll just go through the 6 steps real quick.
Yeah.
Now, the first one is, and this is where it gets interesting because you can start to reflect in your own life. Have you done this? And it's your ultimate confidence targets. All it is writing out, who are you at a 10 out of 10 confidence? What would that look like for you? I know for 15 years, I wasn't even asking that question. So the thing is, when we bypass all those stories of why, oh, woe is me, I'm depressed, and you really get down and hone in on the real action steps, transformation is so fast.
Yeah.
Because once you get past that level, you're writing it out. Okay, I would connect with people. I would feel free to express myself. You're ready for level 2. And it's willing to do whatever it takes. That might sound scary, but it's all about motivation. Because if we have a goal and then deep down inside we're once it gets hard, I'm not going to do it anymore. That doesn't lead to transformation. So I've got tools and resources to help maintain peak motivation, coming from a place of empowerment. Yes, I'm willing to do whatever it takes. This is my top priority because it's really the thing that lights me up the most. And then level 3 is identity upgrade. And kind of what you were talking about. It's, setting yourself up so that you keep identifying with someone who is confident. The person we identify with ultimately is how we feel. If you keep identifying with that anxious person, I am anxious, and you believe it, that's what you're reinforcing. And so I've got tools, resources to set up so that you are, becoming that confident person.
Yeah.
And then one thing that helps, keep us in that identity is letting go. And so that would be the next level. Yep. Letting go of whatever past is defining your current anxious or depressing, identity, which for me was the world took my parents away. I am messed up because the world did this to me. I had to let that go. I had to let that go and allow myself to become a new identity that was possible for me, one that makes me feel confident. And then at the heart of anxiety is, it's really just rejection, but ultimately self-rejection. It's because it's already I don't like myself. I hate myself. And so with that identity, it doesn't matter who you're talking to, at some point, you're going to have this like self-fulfilling prophecy because you're already doing it to yourself. So something people say is just going to further support what we already feel so much of, that, hey, I'm no good, I'm broken, I'm messed up, I'm doomed, I have no value to offer to people.
Yeah.
And so what I do is I offer the resources that helped me become rejection proof, where people can say whatever they want about me. I'm clear on that, going back to the beginning, my ultimate confidence target, who I want to become.
Right.
That's the only thing that matters to me, is, am I growing? Am I becoming more confident? Am I making the impact that I want? People can say whatever they want. It's not gonna take me down this loop of, oh, I knew it, I'm broken. I'm done with that life.
Yeah.
I let that go. Going through these steps. I'm forever fixated on progress and building toward that. And I can, that's part of the resources I help people get to. And then really there's only one more step, and it's just unconditional self-love. It's kind of the same thing as rejection proof, but at kind of a deeper level. It's what are you doing on a daily basis to continually give yourself love?
Nice.
And just one thing that I teach as an assistance for that is, how often are you even just telling yourself, I love myself, I love myself, I love myself, I love myself. I mean, our thoughts, they really do dictate everything.
Exactly.
If we have any chance of changing, we have to change our thoughts.
Yep.
I hate myself, I hate myself, I hate myself. How's that ever going to lead to I love myself? And so there's, that's just one little tool, but there's so many different ones. And then, as like a bonus level at the end of the book, I talk about capturing your power statement. And that's just like the one, if you could distill your life purpose to one statement, what would it be? And I offer the structure of, I help, parentheses, whoever it is that you help, solve whatever, whatever problems that they have, so they can have XYZ results.
Yeah. Right.
If you can come up with your mission statement, exactly the problem that you solve and the benefits you bring to the world. Holy, like, come on, it's so beautiful. Yeah. And I don't want anyone to, have to go without that in their life, that gift, because that gift is really what makes us all equal. We have that opportunity to get to that point. Yeah, anxiety sucks. I get it. It sucks. I thought I was going to end my life. It really does suck. Yeah. But there is a roadmap that does exist.
Yeah, definitely. I love that. Your 6 steps are powerful. Even the bonus step is phenomenal, and like, I love how you guide people through that step after step. And I completely agree with you on step 6, the self-love piece. So many people in today's world, today's society, whatever term, it's just, I have to do this. There's everything is so set to get you to the next day, the next work day, the next whatever it is that we completely lose track of ourselves. And we never show ourselves self-love, self-care, whatever it is, or nourish ourselves in some way, and like more of a mental aspect, a spiritual aspect, whatever it is, to be able to heal. And when you show yourself self-love, oh my goodness, you heal so much of yourself, because you're finally enjoying your life again. Rather than living in fear of anxiety or fear of whatever is causing it, you're now enjoying life, where you can be in just a presence. You're in the present moment. You're not worried about the future, worried about the past, future being caused by anxiety, past being caused by depression. You're now in the present moment, where you can feel that self-love. You can heal to step into the next present moment, and you can become who you're meant to be. And that's what Josh's steps literally take you to. I love that. That's huge, Josh. I love that. So anyone watching that, reach out to get that book, because that's huge right there. I love that, man. That's perfect. And it kind of leads into one of my final questions I wanted to ask you. On your website, you offer a couple of resources with meditation, and a lot of the stuff you've already talked about, and whether it's energy out there, or whether it's showing yourself that self-love. Do you teach people meditation? Do you do it yourself? Like, give us a little tidbit on that to see how that's such a key factor, because the past couple once a week videos have been really teaching people mindset and diving into how meditation or prayer is such a huge factor to us at building ourselves up and how we can live at a high level. And since you kind of do that for yourself, let's keep adding to that whole process we've built. So let's talk about meditation.
Yeah.
Before we close
First
out.
of all, Billy, this is such an amazing question. You're speaking right to my passion, and it's only a passion because I've seen the process work for me. And so, first off, anyone who reaches out, I've got a meditation that I created specifically designed
Nice.
to get out of anxiety and focus on that question that really matters most. What is my ultimate confidence target? Really, it's just like, what do you want to create in your life? Take away anxiety, put that in one category. Just give yourself the opportunity to ask yourself, if I had no anxiety in life, if I had a 10 out of 10 confidence, what would that look like for me? If I could have access to any resource in the world and I knew that I wouldn't fail, what would I do with that 10 out of 10 confidence? And so the point of the meditation that I teach is to guide our focus to that. Because if we don't think about that stuff, what are we doing? What are we doing in life? It's for me, I know what I was doing. I was en route to ending my life. That's what I was doing.
Yeah.
And it's crazy, but it all comes down to, what are we focused on? And more specifically, how much time have we actually put into asking those questions? That's the crazy part. It's so crazy because for 15 years, I didn't even ask that question.
Yeah.
What would a 10 out of 10 confidence look like for me? Well, I had so much baggage going on of, I hate this, I hate that, I hate that. I was in my way. I never even asked that question.
Yeah.
And so for anyone, I'm getting all excited. I've got this phone. I just like
Love
hit
it.
my phones. But I guess so passionate because once I realized, after meditating and giving that a shot, that holy crap, I actually am like feeling happier. Like, this stuff works.
Right.
We have the power to become what we put in our mind.
Yep.
I knew I had to get this out to people. And so anyone that reaches out to me, I do have a specific meditation process that I'll send you. It's 20 minutes. Go through that. I would love to hear your experience with that.
Nice.
And so,
Yeah.
That's one way. Does that like answer your question? Did you want me to like kind of go into like what's in the meditation?
No, 100%. That's perfect right there. And what captured the entire thing is just talking about it. You could see Josh's energy flare to where he knocked the phone off, right? So I love it because it shows, one, that's just hilarious, but two, it shows his passion for wanting to teach people. And why I connect so much with that specific moment is because in like, I don't know, the past like month or so, when I'm with clients or whether I'm just with friends and they ask me about the stuff that I help people with, it's like they have to tell me to like put the volume down because I get so amped. I love helping people in this stuff, whether it's talking about meditation, whether it's diving deep in the mind or the spirit or just helping people overcome something. I'm exactly like Josh. You feel the energy shift. But with meditation, you are naturally growing your energy, you're growing your frequency, your vibrancy, whatever term you want to use for it. And when you do that, as Josh said, what is a 10 out of 10? Whatever question you ask, and you can sit there and you can focus on it and you let it come to you, and you're growing yourself to that version of yourself in meditation in all areas, you get your answer. And I know, well, there's the last little piece, but Josh talked about this before in some of his content, but the questions you ask yourself are so powerful. And if Josh was saying, or the self-talk is so powerful. So when Josh was saying earlier, I'm anxious, I'm anxious, I'm anxious. And then you say back, he changed it to, I love myself, all this kind of stuff. Is a complete energy shift with that terminology. Our words are so powerful. Our thoughts are so powerful. And if you can shift that, as Josh does his meditation for people, as you can find for yourself with resources and everything to how to shift that thought process. One, it shifts how you feel. Two, your word, or three, your words start to shift after that. That's your energy growing. And when your energy grows to such an incredible level, life changes drastically in an incredible way. And that's what Josh teaches. That's what Josh brings to the table. That's what Josh wants to help you with to overcome a lot of the struggles that you might be going through. That's what I try and do just as much as well. That's why Josh and I can connect and bring this powerful message to you. So Josh, I appreciate you diving into meditation on that. And one final question, last question, second to last question. As much as we just went over so many deep pieces, we went over meditation, we went over a parenting question, we went over identity aspects. What's a lasting message you can leave with people right now before we close this video out, this interview out? just to give them to go about their week. This will air on Sunday right now. What is something they can take with them throughout the rest of the week?
This is fantastic. I was hoping I was going to add this in anyway, regardless if you asked. And it's to PM me and get an image. You don't have to get this book. You don't have to. Just get an image. Ask me for the image of this cover. Because the atmosphere in life that really matters most, we got to have fun, and it's got to create meaning in our life. Too much fun, it's not meaningful, because we know we're kind of slacking, we're not being productive. But if it's too meaningful and we're too focused, like I got to do this, I got to do that, and you're like, okay, maybe I'm at a 10 out of 10 on discipline, but geez, this is not fun. Well, we're messing something up.
Yeah.
The approach that worked best for me to get out of anxiety, that's when things moved fastest, and really it applies to any goal.
Yeah.
If you can create a game, and you know, like with exact clarity what it is that you want, and it represents your everything. I want to be confident. I want to get into a romantic relationship. I want to find my soulmate. I want to create a happy family. I want to be a good example to people around me. I want to uplift others. Like, come on, that person is inside each of us. It's a gift. We each have that opportunity. But once we do get serious enough and we write it down with the right resources, and support to get to that point, now it's like, how do I keep this fun and meaningful?
Yep.
The person that's training to run a marathon, that person is not going to stay like disciplined in the long run if it's not fun. Who's going to go through that? I don't know, maybe Batman, but look, in reality, like we want to keep it fun. And so and life doesn't have to be all serious. It's not like, oh, I got to put 10 hours into meditation every day. Ugh. It's like, what's the first level? What's like the first baby steps that you can take? And it's just about having that roadmap, that long-term perspective of, hey, in the short term, this is going to feel like work, but it's fun because there's a reward out of it.
Yeah.
And so whatever you love to do, whatever hobby, for me, it's fitness.
Yep.
When I go to the gym, I'm putting in work. Like that part is discomfort, but why do I keep going back to it? It's because there's a reward for it.
Yeah.
So why would we want to go back to meditation? Why would we even want to go back to breath work and journaling and some of these other tools?
Yep.
Well, it's because there's a reward. And the beautiful part is the reward is your happiness. It's like, what are we doing in life if we're not building positive energy, more loving energy, more happiness? And so that's what that trophy is. Write down your trophy. Your trophy is that happiness, that 10 out of 10 confidence. What does that look like for you? And then turn it into a game. Yeah. How can you challenge yourself? Maybe you get 30 points if you go and talk to someone you find attractive, for someone that's trying to work on dating confidence. It's like, yes, points, right? Whatever. And those points, it's confidence points, man. It's like, it literally is. Yeah. You face your fear, there's a reward for it.
Exactly.
And so, that's what I would add.
I love that. I love that. You heard it right there, guys. Reach out to Josh for that it's just the image. Get the book.
Yeah, just the image. Yeah.
That's awesome. And then take what he just said into this entire week. No matter if it's you're watching this on a Sunday when it airs, Monday, Tuesday, whatever it is, and you catch this next moment. What can that step be? What can that first little step be for you? But take it and run with it. And Josh, last little question before we close this out. As like I said, where can they find you? You mentioned Facebook earlier. Is there anywhere else they can find you? Because in the credits, we're going to label them all out there.
Yeah, so that's the most effective way. Just get into a conversation with me and we'll jump on a call. Like, how about that?
That's
free
awesome.
Call and just do that. But if you want to check out some of my other resources, go to socialconfidenceforlife.com.
Awesome.
And I've got a free ebook there. I've also got, posts there. I focus more on conversations now, but back in the day, I did submit a lot of articles. So it's probably like, 50 plus. I think there might be 100 actually. Go in there, you can already start reading some articles that have helped me on my journey, questions that I had, problems I had with, on my journey out of anxiety that you might have as well. And if you read the article, it might offer you some insights to assist in the process.
Okay, awesome. You heard it right there, guys. As I said, they're going to be in the credits right when we close this out. You're going to see them. You're going to have the links. It's also going to be in the bio for wherever you find this video, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, whether it's on YouTube itself. You will find Josh's links on this or in the bio. Okay, so check that out. But Josh, I thank you so much for being here, man. We dove into so many key pieces. We went deep with it as much as we could to pull people right there. Guys watching this right now, reach out to Josh. He brings so much to the table. We could see his energy in this entire video, and I loved every second of it. But Josh, thank you so much for being here, brother. And I hope people reach out to you because you bring the energy. You bring the level, you bring the confidence, you help people conquer their anxiety, leave it behind them so they can live life and enjoy every single moment after that, man. So thank you so much for being here. Guys, as always, like this video, hit that thumbs up on YouTube. If this sparked you in some way, if there's someone that you feel could gain something from listening to Josh's message right now, share it to them. Help someone. Take that little baby step as Josh described and help someone with this video. Send it to them. That's all you have to do. And please, if you haven't already, subscribe to Once a Week on YouTube, because the more that number goes up, the more people we can help. At the end of the day, that's all Once a Week wants to do, is help people. Subscribe, and I appreciate it so much. But guys, as we know, you know where Josh, you can find him, whether it's his website or Facebook. As he said, reach out to him for a free call. With me, go to BillyGLifeCoaching.com. You can set up a free strategy session with me just as much. The help is here for you guys, whether it's Josh, whether it's me. The help is there for you. And that's the beauty of why we want to help people. Because if you just ask the question, the answer comes and the help is there for you. But guys, thank you for tuning in. Josh, thank you so much for being here, brother. This was awesome.
Yeah, thanks, Billy. Thanks for this opportunity. I love the energy that you brought to this, conversation, because I know it was so key for me. Like, I needed that energy before I could actually get out of anxiety. And so I loved every second of this. This was awesome.
Phenomenal. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, thank you for being here. I can assure you, this will not be the last time you see Josh on Once a Week, because I can already tell there's a bunch of ideas flying right now that I got to get him back on here. So Josh, thank you for being here again, brother. I thank you for those kind words. All right, guys, we'll see you next week. All right. Cool.
You know I've been around and doing it, but now it's my time to shine and start proving it. I'm losing it, I'm moving it. The city is wearing